Good afternoon, good morning, good night. Welcome back to the How Does This Work podcast. I am your host, Antoine Lance. How's everyone doing? I hope you guys are all having a great time. It's been maybe a week since I uploaded. I had plans to upload on Monday, then I had plans to upload on Tuesday. Plans change. Our plans change, but switch some things up. I got a new microphone. Hopefully this audio quality is astronomically better. It sounds better to me. I got the mic Tuesday, had plans to record Tuesday. Things didn't go like I wanted them to, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay. Plans change and you got to do your best to adapt. But yeah, I got a new intro courtesy of one of my good buddies. He's been working on some stuff, so he said he was gonna put something together for me, so shout out to him for that. Like I said, I'm your host. I'm Antoine Lance. You can follow me on Twitter at the all caps _ Antoine Lance. That's ANTWANLANCE. Enough with the intro. Topic of the day. Lately, I've just been dealing with a lot of people who struggle knowing that they're good enough, and they question that all the time. And it's a pretty common thing. I do it. Like, everyone does it. We all question how good we are at something at some point in life. There's nothing wrong with it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's a pretty normal human being thing to do, to question yourself. But hopefully today I can drop a tidbit here and there that can help you realize that, hey, yeah, you are good enough. Like, so, I see a lot of times in life, people just, they chase, I guess they chase the recognition maybe from other people. Like they think that the other people will be able to fulfill that hole that they're looking for, or, they hope that by pleasing other people, they can find some sort of worth, or they can just, realize for themselves like, hey, I did that, and yeah, it is good enough. And unfortunately, no, that's not the case, and it'll never be the case. You can try your hardest for your entire life. You could live for 100 years, and you could try your hardest in everything that you do, and there's always going to be that one person where you do something and it's just not good enough for that person. But what you have to realize is that even if you do try something and it doesn't work for that one person, like it doesn't help that one, or it doesn't meet the criteria that one person has set, you have to realize that that's perfectly fine. You're not always gonna reach everyone's standards. Some people have lofty standards, and you just kind of have to roll with the punches and be like, you know what, I'm okay. I know that I did my best, and that should be enough. And if it's not enough, then you can go kick rocks, I guess. Honestly, but yeah. So I don't want to really waste too much time. So short answer to the question, am I good enough? Short answer is duh. Yeah, you're more. It's not even that, like, good enough is insulting, honestly, because you're more than that. Like, you're so much better than even you realize. Self-esteem is a really tricky thing. You see a lot of times people, like, in a vacuum, like, you can have people will have self-esteem in a vacuum, where you'll see spurts and bursts of that self-esteem where they feel like they're on top of the world. They can do anything, and it's great. That's a wonderful feeling. But that's just in a vacuum. When it comes to, like, big scale, big picture, large scale type situation, they don't have it. They don't have it. It's just not there. But there's nothing wrong with that, because that person, it's not like they're doing something wrong, or it's not like they aren't good enough. It's just that they're not there yet. The train to self-esteem, I guess, it's got a really particular time when it shows up to the station and when it leaves. Like, there's a 2-second window for you really to catch the train. I've never been on a train before, so I don't know if that's an accurate metaphor, but I think it would be. I mean, I understand how, like, I understand how schedules work, so that should be accurate. But if I'm not, let me know. But yeah, what you end up finding is that people will search for this feeling that they're good enough, and they're searching for that feeling in other people or from other people in other aspects of life. So, and it's different. It's different for everybody. I know for a lot of people, they find their worth almost in their work, which I'm not saying don't take pride in what you do. Like, obviously you should take pride in everything that you do because you're doing it and it's a representation and you want to be represented in a good light. So obviously if you're doing something, take pride in that, but don't take so much pride in it that like you reach this point where you're kind of like, that is me and I am it, and if it's not perfect, then I'm not perfect. It's just such a slippery slope, chasing that, oh, if I do this, then it'll impress this person and it'll make that person, think highly of me. Like, that's a really slippery slope. I'd say the best thing you can do, because I used to be that person where like I used to work at O'Reilly's, and I was one of the managers, and I took that seriously. Like, well, I like half took it seriously, because I was like, you guys want me to be a manager? That's crazy. But neither here nor there. But yeah, I was one of the managers, and like, I just took that so seriously to the point where, like, if something didn't go right, like, I was heated, and like, I mean, like, I was big mad about it. So like, I'd come home, I'd be in a grumpy mood. Like, it wasn't good. Like, you should never be so consumed by your work that when things aren't perfect, or you have this feeling of, I have to do this way nonstop all the time, every day, because maybe if I go all out and I do this to the fullest all day, every day, like, that'll give me some fulfillment. And what I realized is, like, okay, I was really good at my job, but it wasn't doing anything for me. Like, I really wasn't getting any enjoyment out of just like constantly pushing and burning oil. Like, it's never just going like that all the time. It'll never really do anything for you, and you'll miss out on like laughs and fun and good times, because you're grumpy all the time. Like, I was grumpy. Like, if you know me, like, if people who know me, I'm not really like I don't take myself very seriously. So I like to joke, I like to have fun, I like to troll people, like friendly trolling, not like that dark internet trolling that y'all be into, but like friendly trolling. But yeah, I just reached this point where I was constantly like pushing, and I'm like, okay, I have to do this. And like, at some point I was like, I'll get that recognition. And what you realize is that you'll never, at least in a business like that, you'll never ever really get the recognition you feel you deserve, because you're always going to be doing so much more work than what you have to do. But yeah, it just like, after a while, like, I was like, I'm not being myself, and I was very unfulfilled. And it wasn't even just in work, it was like in every aspect of life, where I started being like, I had all these things that I wanted to do outside of just working a 9 to 5. Like, last year I was talking to my girlfriend, and I was like, I don't know what it is, I just felt like, and I said this to her, I was like, 2020 is the last year that I want to work like a regular 9 to 5 job. The things that have happened since then have now pointed me to this, like, to doing this. And I'm like, yo, I can see it now. Like, I can see that light, and I couldn't, like, it's so crazy. That's not really correlated to this, but, or I guess maybe it is, but like, podcasting, creating content, just voicing opinions, doing stuff like that. I've always been really big on that. Like, that's kind of me. Like, I have tons of opinions. I have an opinion about just about everything, honestly. But what can end up happening when you don't realize, like, the things that you're doing, when you don't realize that, yeah, it's enough, that like, the feeling that you're not good enough can seep into other aspects of your life. And it's so easy to get dissuaded, whatever the word is. It's easy to, feel like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't do this. And I've wanted to start this podcast for eons, like who knows how long. And I didn't even really get started like until now. And it's just because I didn't feel worthy enough to do something like that. Like, to me, my portion of life was working and continuing to work. It was just like, dude, nah, man. Like, when you have, I don't know if speaking is necessarily my gift, but speaking is a gift. Speaking elegantly is a gift. Speaking in a way that touches people is a gift that some people have. I don't know if I have that gift, but I mean, you guys tell me, like, if what I'm saying is touching you, then that's my confirmation. But speaking is a gift. And for me, like, I don't know, like I said, I've always had so many opinions about so many different things. So doing something like this, while yes, I am very nervous and I'm sure you can hear it, but it almost feels really natural when I can just talk and like just throw opinions and things out there, to the point where I was like, yo, I want to do this. And there was always just this like feeling of, no, like I said, like working. Like, you're supposed to work. That's what you're supposed to do in life. And it took there was a lot of struggling mentally, like, not, like internal struggling with just dealing with like, hey, maybe you're supposed to do this. Even if not, you owe it to yourself to try. And it's not even like, it's not like, oh, you only owe it to yourself. There are people who are probably going to hear this and it might help them and I won't even know. And honestly, I don't really need to know as long as I can help. So, but yeah, don't let that like self-doubt or that wonder like, oh, if I do it, will I be good at it? Like, don't even let that get into your head, because then you start wondering if you're good enough to do things or things like that. And it's like, you don't know who's going to see or hear what you do, and you don't know how it's going to affect them. If you don't do it at all because you're too afraid, then you've just like taken away an opportunity to help someone through something, and you can't really afford, I feel, to do that in life. And like along the road, like as I've been putting together like my ideas and my thoughts and like buying a microphone and just all kinds of different things, it never fails. And this the devil is a very sneaky individual, and he will try things. Anytime you try to do something, especially if it's something that you like get pleasure from, or if it makes you happy, there's going to be roadblocks, and you're going to stumble and trip, and things aren't going to go right. And obviously, like even for me in the past, if like I struggle with something, or if I try and do something and then like something bad happens in the past, I would look at it and be like, oh man, well, maybe that's a sign that I shouldn't do that. In which, yeah, some things are signs that you shouldn't do things. However, I've now begun to realize, and like this was all part of my journey. Everyone's journey is different. You all come to you are going to come to a realization of something in a different manner than I did. And there's nothing wrong with that, because your journey and my journey can be completely different. Let me phrase this the right way. I don't look at roadblocks, at least when it comes to things that I want to do and things I feel can help people. I never look at roadblocks as stopping signs. Like, I don't see them as signs that I shouldn't do what I'm doing, because I don't believe that's what they are. When it comes to like the desires of your heart and things that you want to do, I look at roadblocks and the stopping signs as like signs that you should be doing that. Because what happens is the devil doesn't want you to be happy. It's not what he's here for. He might give you something, or like, and I wouldn't ever advise rolling with that dude. Like, he's trash. He might give you something small, and small to me might not be small to you. Everything is relative. He might give you something that you feel you need, and it makes you feel good in an attempt to draw you in. So like, if you don't side with him and you start doing things and people tell you, hey, that helped me and it made you feel good, obviously he's going to try and stop that, because he can't, like, he doesn't like to lose, even though that's kind of what he does. That's his thing. He loses. So like, don't ever look, like with this, for example. So I have a YouTube channel. It's like going to be mostly a gaming channel. Yesterday I had an idea, and I was like, cool, I think I can record that. As soon as I went to record it, my plan just completely, stuff hit the fan and it didn't work out. Had another idea, same exact thing. So I was like, dang, those were going to be pretty good ideas and it didn't work out. And that's okay. By no means did that discourage me from like recording or doing whatever. It's just every time you get closer to achieving a goal or your goal or whatever, there's going to be some attack, and you got to handle it the right way. You just got to look at it and be like, cool, this is not a stop sign. This is just proof that I'm on the right path. And that in essence is all doubt is. It's literally just the devil trying to convince you that you're on the wrong path. But it should have the opposite effect. You know, if you're like working out, you want to lose 20 pounds. Like you may feel like you fall off all those random urges. When you get to like 17 pounds, you're going to get a random urge for some cake. Don't eat the cake. At least not all of it. Like eat less of the cake. But you just have to realize that like when you start getting close to your goals, your dreams, whatever it may be, there's going to be some attack just to try and deter you. And you just have to do your best to look at that attack and be like, okay, I see what you're doing. I understand that. You might have a moment and there's nothing wrong with that. Just get back. You got to get back up every time. You got to get back up. Don't doubt yourself. Yeah, like I said, don't ever doubt yourself. Those feelings of doubt or wondering if you're good enough to do something. Yes, you are. The main reason why you're good enough, obviously, is God. He created us. He created us to be awesome and to solve all kinds of problems. I think Jeremiah, somewhere in Jeremiah, you know, it says before you were even formed in your mother's womb, you were already created to solve problems. That it's going to resonate different with everyone depending on their level of spirituality, but like you got to realize you were literally destined to solve problems. You were destined to be great. Any thought, because of whatever, like what you were created to be, it's not a mistake. You were 100% created to be that. If you get in any kind of inkling of, I think I'm supposed to be doing this, and if it feels right, it would behoove you to stay on that path. Don't deviate. Don't doubt yourself. And then, like I said, it's hard. Everyone doubts themselves. I know people who do things professionally, they doubt themselves. And it's not that they don't have faith, or it's not that they don't believe in themselves. It's just a natural thing. Like, don't ever think for a second, like the devil has power. Like, don't ever think for a second that he's just powerless. He doesn't have much power and he really can't do too much, but he can definitely, like, he is still a supernatural being. So you gotta, you have to combat that accordingly. But yeah, you were created. You were created by the creator to fix problems and solve problems and just do things differently. So you got to roll with that. And you can't ever, like, if for no other reason, if what I say you don't believe, or your best friend tells you, like, yeah, you're good enough. If for no other reason, if nothing else gets to you, if you believe nothing else, that book, you got to believe that book. And it's something I've seen, like, not really, this isn't tied to that scripture, but I guess it's like a side effect. I've seen a side effect of people who don't believe that they are good enough for whatever they want. They end up hating themselves, or they dislike themselves. And I think it's a pretty common thing that people tend to do. And unfortunately, I hate to be the guy who breaks this to you. And I don't know if this is like, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am. I'll say it's like 99.97% impossible to hate yourself into something you love. So really, doubting yourself, doubting that you can do something, it really doesn't even make sense, because you're not going to accomplish anything. Like, you're not going to reach a point where you doubt yourself so much that you start to hate that you change it. Like, it just doesn't work out. It doesn't work like that. There are definitely better ways that you can go about it. One of those ways being, you can, instead of focusing so much on the things in life that you don't do well, and honestly, a lot of the times, what we as humans, what we do is we focus on things that we don't do well. It'll be like 2 things, but there's 8 other things that we do perfectly fine, but we don't give ourselves any credit for those things. All we do is we beat ourselves up and we focus on the bad. One way that and this has helped me, like this is something that I've personally done to stop doubting myself so much. You gotta, and it's hard. It's really hard, especially when if you're like me, where, and this is gonna sound like a weird flex. I'm super duper humble. Like, I'm very humble. I've always been very humble. Well, okay, that's a lie. I haven't always been very humble, but God will humble you, and that's a great feeling. But now I am very humble. I am a very humble person. So you have to like focus. Give yourself some credit. There we go. Give yourself some credit. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a high five. Tell yourself you did good. Like it doesn't even make sense. Like it doesn't make sense to doubt and be like, oh, I did this bad, I did that bad. Doesn't make sense. Don't waste, because like I said earlier, you can't, like, doing that isn't gonna make you hate it to the point where you want to change it. You're just gonna be mad that you did that, and then you're gonna not want to do it again. The only way to get better at stuff is to do it. So like, you gotta focus more on the good things that you do, and also focus more, like, there's a silver lining, or there's a bright side to everything. Focus more on that bright side. If you do something and it might not be the best habit in the world, focus on how you can use that habit in a positive light. For example, like, I'm always going to use me as the example. I'm super, super hard on myself, and I always have been, and I feel like I always will be. It's a struggle. Very hard on myself. It's not, and I don't even really try. Like this, for example, when I'm going back and I'm editing this, it's pretty rough. It's kind of rough, because I don't like how I sound. I hate the way I sound. I hate hearing my own voice. I think I talked about that last episode. I hate hearing my own voice. If I sit here and I go back and I edit these, and I'm like, oh man, I sound like this, or I said this wrong, or I should have said that, or I shouldn't have said that, I'll end up scrapping the whole thing, and then I'll have no podcast. Which I don't want to do. So instead of like roasting myself and telling myself that I'm trash, I have to focus on all the good. I have to, like, and it's not even like it's a lot of bad. It'll be, maybe I got tongue tied or whatever. It just has to be a thing where I'm like, that was a good point, or I said that in a really elegant way, so that my brain isn't so fixated on not making mistakes. Because once you're like, when you fixate on not making mistakes, you end up making more mistakes. Yeah, I hope, I pray someone hears this and, they're like, what? That guy's right. That Antoine guy, man, he really made some good points. If you are that person, thank you. Remember to go follow me on Twitter at _Antoine Lance. Before I dip out of here, so I hadn't had a schedule. I didn't have a schedule. And in order to do this and be effective, you have to have a schedule. So now what's going to end up happening is 1 week will be 2 episodes, and next week will be 3. So I don't really know how I'm going to work this week, because I didn't upload Tuesday. But 1 week I will do Tuesday, Thursday. I might just upload twice, tomorrow, Thursday. We'll see. I'm going to alternate weeks. So 1 week would be Tuesday, Thursday. Next week would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that way, hopefully, we can continue to grow the audience. And I thank you to everyone who's listened and downloaded and shared. You guys are the goats. I love you. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna roll. I guess I probably need to come up with like a time also to upload, but I'm working on it. It's all a work in progress. We're getting there. But yeah, that's about all I got today. Like I said, parting words. Stop wondering if you're good enough. You were created by the Creator. So yeah, you're more than good enough. If no one has told you today, I love you. Stay safe. Be blessed.